Hello and welcome, Speed Gaming fans, to another thriller of a race in the 2024 SGLIVE Timespinner Randomizer Tournament. I'm Wafflesoup. I'm your host tonight, joined in the booth by the wonderful Jim the Eternal. Jim the Eternal, how are you doing?
I'm doing excellently. I am thrilled to be here. I am thrilled to be watching these excellent racers. We've got Wafflesoup on the left, we got Planeswater on the right, two, and I don't think I am remiss to use this word, titans of the Timespinner Randomizer community.
Something along those lines, yeah. And as was stated in chat, two great runners. What a spicy race. This has to be in the winner's bracket, right?
You would think.
You would think that, wouldn't you? But it is not. This is actually an elimination race. Round 5 of the second chance bracket. So everything's kind of on the line here. There are still quite a few people in this tournament. We have resolved the upper half of the bracket. So we've got a few matches to decide who is going up against Tonberry James, in the finals. But until then, we've got some matches to race.
Yeah, absolutely. So Planeswater, amazing pedigree, winner of last year, and strong contender to win this year. So wild that he's down in the second chance bracket. Wafflesoup, just an absolute nightmare to race against, you know, strongly placing year after year and very skilled. So this is going to be an excellent match.
Yeah, for sure. And I think one of the coolest things about all of this is that they, despite having been so skilled in this game and so great at this randomizer, neither of them have faced off against each other yet. So this is their first matchup somehow.
Yeah. Across all of the tournament history. Very incredible. So yet another reason to look forward to this one. What do you want to see from this match? What do you think we're gonna hit here?
I want to see Lab. I want to see Lab. I keep saying the same thing over and over again, and I want to see Lab.
I'm with you, honestly. I hope this is a longer seed. I hope that I'm not worried about it being like straightforward or with weird one-offs, but I just want this to go past 45 minutes.
Yeah, I'll accept past 45 minutes for sure. As you can see, Planeswater's timer has begun the countdown, so they're about to take off here. So we are ready to go, and we are going to see what Mom has for us today. Ooh,
Ice Plus?
Love that.
How familiar do you think our racers are with ice as a melee orb?
I think both racers have done enough of these seeds that I think it doesn't really matter. But it is a very very interesting orb to start with. It doesn't behave like most weapons in this game. It kind of drops at your feet and then creates an icicle, and both the snowball that you throw and the icicle itself deal damage. So it's cool for damage over time, but as I said before, it sort of drops down, which can be helpful, but it can also be kind of annoying.
One of the more difficult to use orbs. There's a couple of people in the community that have been big fans of ice, kind of vocal about ice. Zed comes to mind. So yeah, I'm really interested to see kind of and the spell is amazing. Frozen Spires is actually really, really good. Like, no qualifications there.
Yeah, we do see that we have Plasma Geyser Plus, which means Plasma Orb will be plus. It'll be interesting to see if we see any other orbs used once our runners find that. It is very powerful, and there's a Shadow Seal to go along with their Ice Orb Plus. This is a pretty good start of the seed for damage per second, for sure.
Absolutely. We're seeing Rising Tides come into play already. It doesn't actually change their routing much, but makes it a little bit easier to cross that broken bridge. They don't have a chance of falling down and not being able to make it back up and needing to go around.
Yep. See a quick
Got a map check.
Yeah. Lake Serene has water. The Castle Loop does not. So here we go.
Wow, everything looking remarkably normal.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I say Lake Serene has water like that's some sort of odd thing. We are playing with the Rising Tides flag.
Right.
Which does mean that places can have water that shouldn't have water, and places that should have water might not have water. So namely the Lake Serene area, which is just to the left of the starting area. Sometimes that lake is drained, and you can cruise down there and get a whole bunch of checks there that you wouldn't be able to otherwise without that water mask that allows us to swim But yeah, right now it's looking kind of vanilla. So we're going to head to and there we go. There's a moat that has been flooded. So our racers are going to have to abandon 2 checks down there for now until they get that water mask.
Yeah. So ice already coming in a little handy. We saw Planeswater juking a little bit near that chest with the rats. And ice just kind of sitting there on the ground and dealing a decent chunk of damage was enough to deal with him. So he didn't get trapped for too long.
Right. Chaos Blade's minus, so the ever-popular Eye Orb, we know that is going to be minus.
Unfortunate. Eye Orb is such a truck.
But, Plasma is going to be plus, so...
Yeah, I mean, trade-offs, right?
Yeah.
That Plasma guys are making short work of these enemies.
Yep. Notably was not making short work of the bats. Planeswater actually launched a Plasma Geyser at some bats, like, I'm going to get some quick experience, and then the bats didn't die, and he was like, well, never mind, I'm leaving.
These bats are such a pain to deal with. They have the weirdest weaknesses. Neck and neck at this point, right? Like, we saw Wafflesoup maybe pulling, or Planeswater pulling a little bit ahead earlier, and now they're, like, closer to, like, same screen.
Yeah, we did see Wafflesoup get a quick kill on both of those giants on the way in, and going to get another one on the way out here. So
Very
maybe
nice.
experience favoring Wafflesoup maybe by like 1 level, but still,
Yeah.
it can mean a lot.
Right, yeah, it could be an advantage, especially, like, there's been a lot of focus on boss fights as part of the tournament meta so far this year. A lot of people skipping boss fights because they are long, and because the way the flags work out, boss fights are less important than they were. But a couple of levels like that might make the difference in a longer boss fight check.
Truly. And obviously this could change. Like, we could still see Planeswater kill some stuff that Waffle doesn't, and vice versa. So that situation is ever monitored. We do have 2 brooches in the same room. I think that
Amazing.
was. So very cool.
I'm surprised that it can do that, given that it can't do gears.
Was that too? I don't know what that was. I'm actually kind of surprised that was possible too. But well, we'll see.
Fascinating.
It's not going to break anything. It's not like
Yeah. Right? Cosmetic items, like...
Yeah.
So heading up towards the Golden Idol now, we're seeing both of them do kind of the same thing here. The expectation is without any progression items, without any vertical here, they're not going to be able to complete the Golden Idol area or head up to Alana's Towers over here on the right. But they will be able to get a couple of checks, and if those checks are worthless, they have that save point right as they end the basement loop that they can just save and quit back to without losing much time.
Yeah, the basement loop is really one of those unanimously agreed upon useful things. They did get a warp shard, so they actually don't have to save and quit if they don't want. But Wafflesoup will save that warp shard. We'll see if that matters. I mean, I think I would probably have done the same.
It's a couple of seconds here, given the proximity to the save point to the warp. But as you can see, Wafflesoup now just getting to that warp, right? So maybe 15 seconds lost there. But that could be, 25 seconds, 30 seconds, any more out of the way check for that warp shard.
Yep, and we really have one thing that is left for our runners to do, and that's why you see them both going for it. With the flooded Lake Serene, they literally just have like 2 treasure chests up here they can get, and one of them's going to be their progression, and it'll be interesting to see which one it is.
They could fight Cantorin at this point. That is the only other check that's available to them.
I suppose they could if they wanted to fight Cantorin, yes, and that's a tablet. So we could get a required Cantorin here. And it looks like that's going to be the case. Wow.
Oh my
okay.
God. Yeah, Planeswater taking that free warp, heading back to the refugee camp, and hitting that save, notably. Saving is slow, but sometimes you need it. And I think when heading towards the Cantorin fight, that's a good idea. We've got the boss randomizer flag turned on, and that scales bosses to the location that they're in. Which means he could fight an early game boss or a late game boss, but it's scaled to a late game boss's stats regardless.
Varney. Ooh.
Okay.
Interesting find here. The Plasma very nice.
Yeah, Plasma's going to be doing a lot of work here because Ice is going to be real tough to get hits with. You can already see Planeswater not quite judging the distance correctly.
In terms of damage over time, Varney is actually technically weak to Ice Orb. Pretty useful if you see Varney go over to the side. You can kind of grab one of those ledges with icicles, and this is where things are going to sort of start to hurt. Those missiles are going to do a lot of damage, but as you can see, kind of baiting Varney into the side there, and
Nice
taking
kill.
care of business. And it's the water mask, which is probably the worst kind of progression that they could have been hoping for.
Yep. Now all of those underwater checks are available, even if they are slow.
Notably, something interesting with that warp shard used by Planeswater, we were talking about the difference in experience. Planeswater had actually killed some stuff on the way up to the idle area and kept those levels by warp sharding, whereas Wafflesoup lost those levels, essentially wasted time killing things by saving and quitting.
Yeah, Wafflesoup having a slightly harder time with this fight.
Yeah, a couple levels can do a lot, especially when you have a plus orb, like 3 damage per icicle. Also, Wafflesoup not quite getting as much damage from the ledges there either. So very interesting. Obviously does a great job, but the lack of aura restoration is a killer here. All right, so
And it's such an awkward fight too with the weapons they have available.
all right, well, we have an immediate turnaround to go see what is in these chests. I believe Planeswater did the same thing, so
Yep.
nothing new here.
Nothing of consequence. So Planeswater is of course a little bit in the lead, still has that 20 to 25 seconds on Wafflesoup. But not finding anything relevant yet.
Yeah, Crimson
So-
Vortex means blood is normal. Both of our runners have the Princess Dress, which is the best available option right now. There's fire in Lake Serene. Pyro
So they've
Ring's
got some
lucky.
burning ice cubes they can drop on things.
Yeah, just ice cubes that are on fire.
Right.
Time.
Typical. So we're going to see Planeswater heading into the Maw Caves now, the Caves of Banishment.
Yeah.
With no real vertical, this is going to be a bit of a contentious play, I think. There
Yeah,
are
did you
some
check the map to
checks.
see if it was flooded.
I don't know that he might have. If so, I didn't notice it.
Yeah, I mean that would be
Yeah,
why
if it's
I
flooded,
would-
then no contention at all. But if it's not flooded, there are a couple of checks that need extra vertical in order to be able to get them. But I guess we'll see.
Yeah, it's a
Oh, it is
a
flooded. Okay.
Empress robe, not an eternal robe there. Wafflesoup grabbing that high ether, and it is flooded, so Planeswater must have checked. So yeah, it is flooded, and Wafflesoup grabbing that high ether. Planeswater actually declined to collect that high ether. So this is definitely going to be an interesting potential divergence. I don't know if Waffle has checked the map to see if Maw Caves is flooded or not.
Going to get the warp regardless.
Having just got that fire, yeah, I mean that's a
And then turning around immediately to head to the top of Lake Serene, which, yeah, exactly. Just having gotten that fire, this is a great idea. You can go kill Azure Queen, you can go burn the vines and get the checks up here, and that's going to be quicker than going through a flooded maw, and definitely more appealing than going through a Caves of Banishment that you can't get all the items in.
right. Yeah, and Waffle's going to be grabbing. I don't remember what was on the chicken ledge. I think it was just like a potion or an antidote or something. So that's not necessarily important, but there are some checks here that Planeswater hasn't gotten, and as you see, Planeswater kind of struggling with getting out of the water.
That jump
there.
is so hard. It's so precise.
It is trickier than it looks.
The common trick is you can go into the relics menu and turn off the water mask, so you end up bobbing exactly at the top, and that'll let you get that with a little bit more ease. But it is time spent in menus if you trust your jumps.
Yeah, and like by the time you try it a couple times, it's very sunk cost. It's like, well, I can't go into the menu now because then
Right,
I'm just
exactly.
wasting even more time. Surely this attempt will be the one where I successfully get out of the water.
Wafflesoup not finding anything in particular here. This would actually be a great place for her to use that warp shard that she saved if she
Yeah,
was trying to get out of here.
I would say Azure Queen, going and fighting the Azure Queen is the goal here. Running from right to left here and swimming up from the Maw Caves.
Probably pretty
Unknown
close to
whether
each
that's
other.
going to be better. It might be good here just in case this fight is terrible. Oh, hey, look at that.
Ooh.
That is Maw's Cave entrance. Thanks,
right?
Ricky. Oh, it is Ifrit. Yeah, Wafflesoup's just going to go for this. Did not get the... Yeah, so needs to turn around, and there you go. So this is going to be actually a really easy, quick fight for Wafflesoup here. Very easy fight. Weak to ice. And it looks like Planeswater is backing out of those Maw Caves, and will be doing exactly what Wafflesoup just did, probably.
Having found nothing really good.
There's
Ooh,
a
mysterious
warp
warp
beacon
beacon.
to Inner Ancient Pyramid. Very awkward.
Extremely awkward on single jump, no vertical.
Yeah. Very awkward when you don't have any vertical. You can get literally one chest.
Mm-hmm. No, because you can go up to. Oh no, you need double jump to get up to there, huh?
Yeah, they can get literally one
at least
chest in
double
the
jump.
Ancient Pyramid right now. All right,
Wow.
Planeswater opting to stay outside. Does get hit in there. I mean, it's 6-1, half dozen, right? Like this is going to be a quick fight for both. Yeah, just
it's
like
a relatively low HP spot, right? Azure Queen is fairly early and not too scaled.
Right. Not a whole lot going on in terms of HP there. So we've got
that warp beacon. And what is next on the list? Where does Planeswater go from here?
Well, he burns vines for sure. And then he has to go to Ancient Pyramid. I mean,
In Ancient Pyramid, there's still Waterfall, and there's still the underwater checks in the Upper Caves of Banishment. So it'll be interesting to see kind of where they go next, right? It's and the moat. So there's still like a bunch of different individual places to go.
Yeah. So this is kind of a weird start to this seed.
Absolutely.
Not really seeing a way into the present right now. No wheel, no spindle. No, they have 2 of the warp beacons, but the one that gets them to the present still missing. So Planeswater might be breathing a sigh of relief every time he picks up one of these things, and it's nothing. Because I think Planeswater would realize, like, well, with that Pyro Ring, as we see Wafflesoup trying to get out of the water over here too.
Irritated by the siren.
All right. Trying to get out.
It's such a struggle. Planeswater going for that flooded moat. We will probably see Waterfall after this, given that it's very close to here and on the way down to other areas. There's the Modern Warp Beacon.
Like, turning off the water mask.
Yep. Oh, and Plasma Plus.
Plasma Plus.
Moat is loaded.
There's the damage. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, and immediately switching. Plasma is such a huge. So Plasma, one of the orbs that was more affected than usual by the damage randomizer. So on top of the normal doubling of damage, there's an extra modifier because it's a little hard to use and a little annoying to use. So it punches very, very hard for its weight class.
Yeah, the goal was to try and get there to be a reason to use every orb with damage rando, and Plasma and Pyro, 2 specific orbs that were very unpopular and nobody ever really used them. So those got a little more buff. Gun also being in there as a buff that was a little bit more than what everything else got buffed.
So,
all right,
switching over the audio to Planeswater's side. Pretty firmly ahead at this point.
I would say, yeah, pretty firmly ahead. I mean, when I say firmly, it's probably like...
It's like 45 seconds.
Maybe 45 seconds. That's what I was thinking. So, Planeswater also did not check this stuff. The Plasma Crystal, and then heading up, like, in the elevator shaft. Waffle probably should heal. Never mind. Just in time.
She's got it covered.
Yeah.
She knows her tolerances.
We haven't seen really anything great here. Oh, there's the elevator keycard. There we go.
All right, that is what we were looking for. So that is again, this seed has been like very small spheres. Like, you know, there's the early checks, and then they ran those out and found a piece of progression that got them like 6 more checks, and then they ran those out, and then they got a piece of progression that gave them like 5 more checks, and they ran those out. It's incredible just how little pieces of progression they've been getting.
Yeah, Planeswater looking to just be very sure about the past before heading to the present here.
And we saw this when in his race against Ladybug. Just he's very, very aware of the possibility of somebody stealing a march on him because he missed something out of the way. And he is confident in his skill and his execution, so he knows that if he's ahead, the way that he loses this race is by skipping something important.
Yep, and we do see Wafflesoup kind of getting these caves checks in stride, coming up from the Maw Caves. Notably, we have this elevator keycard, which took us to military hangar, was it? So this elevator keycard helps out a lot.
Yeah, the military hangar warp actually only opened up, what, 2 checks without any additional progression? So the elevator keycard actually opens up to the left side of the present in a way that they didn't have access to beforehand.
Yeah, Radiant minus, that's a bummer.
Minus. Yep. But Plasma plus, so it's really hard to complain about, you know, what damage Rando is giving them.
Yeah, Wafflesoup's making the right call here. Gonna get Plasma plus, gonna get that modern warp beacon, and we'll see where she goes from here.
Yep. Yeah, she already has the elevator keycard, so she's not going to need to mess around too much. So we should see her hot on Planeswater's heels at this point.
Yeah, we'll see if Waffle decides to like, keep doing clearance of the past, or is she going to go right to the present?
Planeswater's still not finding anything major, which kind of is in keeping with the theme of this seed. Opened up some doors, and this does open up a lot of checks, the elevator key card, right? Because you have the entire left side of the present open to him now.
Yep, it sure does. Everything except for Zarian Caves. Unless, I guess, there's water. There could be water that would allow them to get to Zarian Caves.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, that's without the vertical. Kobo in the library.
Always in the library.
Yeah, as is tradition. So we've got a flag turned on that allows the temporal gyre to be accessible from a variety of different locations. So this includes the Ifrit fight, the Ravenlord fight, and the Gauntlet. The Ifrit fight is up here in the library. The Ravenlord fight is accessible from the lab with a different familiar as kind of a key to it. And then the Gauntlet part of the temporal gyre is accessible just past the military hangar once you've opened up the laser gates.
Yep. That would require 3 laser gates, which Planeswater found 1.
Okay, so they do exist.
They do exist. So my lab dream is still online. You do need all 3 of those laser gates open in order to get to the military hangar and then eventually the lab. There's our first piece of the Timespinner right here in the library. There you go. And the V.
Oh, and they have the tablet. I forgot they have the tablet. Yeah, they're going to get a lot of checks out here in the library.
Yeah, there's a ton of checks.
Jin minus.
And the B key card.
All right, so things are finally starting to open up.
The B card is sort of helpful. Like, it's not, since they have the military hangar warp, it kind of just opens up, like, if they get the gates, then it does open up a lot more because it allows them to get actually into the lab. But until then, it's Planeswater's taking the
Golden Idol at Ifrit. Yep. You want to talk about that item preview?
Yeah, gonna get that item preview here. There's gonna be a little flash after Planeswater wins this fight, where the reward that you would get for beating this vanilla location is going to be visible. So we'll see if we can catch what it is as I lean close to my monitor.
Right. Soul scanner.
Like a soul scanner.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Cool. So that's a fight they don't have to take.
Yep. And you get an economizer ring as a reward there, so that's pretty good. It's not nothing.
Yeah, Plasma Geyser's been pretty good so far, so being able to toss out a few more Plasma Geysers I think is going to be effective.
All right, so Planeswater heading into those Siren Caves.
I like this play. Just on a personal level, I feel like Siren's Cave has been more likely to have progression than you would expect, just because of its positioning and where it is in the game.
Yeah, and there's more checks down here than you would think. Like you think, oh, it's so sparse, it's kind of underwater, so it's sort of slow, but the 2 checks at the very, very end of the cave sort of pull up that average check density way up. So like there's reasons to come down here. And I think Planeswater's making a good play. We'll see if Wafflesoup does this fight and learns about the soul scanner at Ifrit. Does look like that's what she's doing.
I would expect so, yeah. So looking to be a longer seed so far, right? Still only 1 gear. They do have the pyramid access. They don't have any vertical. Only 1 of the laser gates. So we'll see probably a desolation play from Planeswater after this.
Waffle doing 200 at a time with that Shadow Seal. Just so much. Being a little more risky. If you take a hit here, you die. So being very risky, but is very comfortable not taking hits. Does a lot of 1 HP runs. So very
Waffle definitely knows her business.
Yeah. An Economizer Ring. Their D card was down in the sewers, so we'll see another Laser Gate and a Merchant Crow. Okay. Lab.
So if they get that lab access, then they'll be able to fight whoever's at the Ravenlord spot. Looks like hadn't checked V yet, so...
No. Yeah, well, it looks like Wafflesoup's doing that right now, and Planeswater just did it, and there's nothing there. We do see a sad little Empire Minus. And then heading to left and into the Lake Desolation area. Both of our runners.
Yep. So again, now they're looking like they're about on par with each other, but Wafflesoup still needs to go get that D key card, probably.
Yeah, Planeswater actually did find that 3rd laser access, so...
Wow.
We've got access to the lab. We have a Merchant Crow, but no vertical. So... can't really do much in the lab, actually.
It looks like Planeswater is going to go kill the Maw out of logic.
Or just maybe check Plasma Crystal and
that's fair. That's fair. The timing of this is suspicious, right? Right before he goes into Desolation, he's coming back to the Maw.
I would not do an underwater Maw fight.
And it looks like he agrees.
Okay, so Ravenlord at Boots. Thank you very much for that seed. All right.
Well, at least that means Ravenlord's not anywhere else.
Right. So we have Wafflesoup doing Lake Desolation here, and Planeswater finding out there was nothing there. Planeswater now heading over to Lake Desolation. There we go.
Yep. So
and there is water.
Convenient, actually.
So Skeleton is on the table.
Come on, Skelly. Show me the goods.
Yeah, the Ravenlord fight here just absolutely not a problem. Boots has like 400 HP or whatever,
and Plasma's hitting for 200.
Yeah. We'll see if Waffle checks Skeleton.
Most likely, Waffle's not going to leave Skelly alone.
Runners will choose not to go get Skeleton sometimes, and there you go.
All right, well,
congratulations, Wafflesoup.
Betrayal. It's really interesting to see how close they are here, knowing that both of them have checks that the other one doesn't, right? So it's still like a roll of the dice who's actually ahead here, just depending on who decides to go and get the stuff that wasn't important that the other person already has.
Yep. Now Planeswater does have that 3rd laser access, but like as soon as Waffle finds that D key card, it's like it's in the Siren Caves, which she might not do. Wafflesoup may actually route in Medbay when doing Siren Caves. Planeswater faded the Medbay a little there, so that'll be interesting to see if that's got anything good. Just a food synthesizer here at the end of Lake Desolation.
Not going for the fire checks. Interesting. Oh, warping first. Okay, wanting to come up from the bottom area. Yep, that's fair. Man, I'm just like I can't. I'm so entranced by like how close they are, and I want to know what's going on, what's going through their heads. Like the seed has been so linear so far, right? There's not been a lot of room for making a whole lot of kind of crazy decisions. There's been one place to go, and until you get to that place, you can't get anywhere else. And they're both kind of following in pretty much the same footsteps.
Yeah, they had a little bit of a high five there. So, there's Light Wall.
Light Wall. Interesting. Okay.
Hold on.
I think Planeswater went in and got the left half of the J room and then didn't get the right side, or
Planeswater grabbed that.
Did he?
No. It's not on his tracker.
Right? It is on his map, though, which is suspicious.
Eternal Crown. Okay. Oh, he's killing Maw.
Yeah, okay. This is kind of what I was thinking about earlier. Now it makes a lot more sense. He's got a lot less of Desolation to go through.
Yeah,
but,
you can kind of run towards those 2 checks and get the rest there.
Wafflesoup going straight for Golden Idol and Alana's Towers.
Yeah.
Okay.
This.
Oh, not getting Siren's Cave. This could be bait.
This could be bait. But they're missing 4 pieces of the time spinner.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
if there were fewer time spinner pieces remaining, like it's going to be really difficult for anything to be bait at this point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can't imagine Planeswater really wanting to go for no vertical lab right now.
Right.
Even no vertical military hangar. Like, you can't actually get through there, can you?
You can get through military hangar, but once you're in the lab, there's nothing for you to do.
Right.
Well, you can kind of drop down and get a couple of things, but there's like a couple checks, and that's about it. Oh no, with no vertical, you actually can't get through military hangar. That's
I don't think you can get through the military hangar without any vertical.
You can't even get through it. All right, so Planeswater will be grabbing... Will not be grabbing the light wall.
It's over on the right.
Oh, there's a throw trap. That's a time save.
Convenient. Yeah, get this chest, get the chest on the ledge, and then come back for the chest that has light wall.
Yeah, grab a save. Oh, you don't have vertical, so you can't grab the save and go back.
Correct. He's got some biscuits to eat. Or a high potion.
All right.
Drinking his dinner.
Heading into Ilana's Tower proper.
Yeah, so Planeswater coming up. For all that Planeswater felt like he was ahead, he came onto Lightwall late. So this actually puts him a little bit behind Wafflesoup just in the order of getting to new places. Unless he decides to go for what little he can grab out of the military hangar, and this matters.
Yeah, with no time stop, this is going to be really annoying. There's a gas mask for Wafflesoup in Ilana's Tower.
Okay, so Planeswater doing Maw out of logic doesn't hurt too much.
Yeah, Planeswater realizing now how annoying this is going to be. Those grenades do a ton of damage. You can see they're already down to like just over 100, and these gunners are no slouch either. He used up a lot of healing on the oxygen run, so is going to have to be a little more careful than probably he wants to be at this point. Although there is a gear.
There's a gear.
There's a
I can understand not wanting to do single jump Ilana's Towers. Like, single jump Lightwall Ilana's Towers is a hassle. You want more vertical by the time you get there. I'm not convinced that single jump Lightwall military hangar is any better.
Or lab, for that matter.
Yeah, definitely.
But we will see these checks here. Like
I imagine he'll go for the teleporter over here and then figure something else out from there.
Yeah, I mean, there's, like I said, there are a couple of things that they can get with no real trouble in the actual lab. We'll see if Planeswater continues to actually stay in the lab and get actual checks, or just not even go in the first place. He's heading to the pyramid. All right.
All right. So Planeswater going to the pyramid. Waffle in Ilana's Towers. Both of them hopefully using their economizer ring, because they're going to be busting out a lot of light walls.
Yeah. Wafflesoup's definitely got that economizer ring going. Is that a galaxy stone at the bottom of that little corridor?
That could be.
Planeswater just basically doing a sanity check there at the pyramid. I think Planeswater was like, we've had access to this for a really long time. I better make sure it's nothing.
Right. Yes. Yeah. And that is a very Planeswater move.
Yeah. Planeswater getting a little minor light wall jail there. Not a major one, just a minor light wall jail. Just a demon at the bombardiers. There's just where is everything?
Right.
There's a spindle.
Ooh. Okay. Well, right, I mean, we kind of figured that Ilana's Towers was going to be required at this point, right?
Well, up to
this many pieces missing.
I mean, up to this point, it really didn't seem like it had any. Oh my goodness! Plasma plus dad fight.
Get out of here!
Not at all.
Nuvius getting fried.
Yep, and we'll see what's here. Just a trap, a griffin, the Oculus ring behind Ilana.
Yeah. That's worth a rage dance. Absolutely.
Wafflesoup. And there's Aura, and that's a full clear of Ilana's Tower.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see where Waffle goes now.
There is still the breakable floor that Wafflesoup has decided not to go back for immediately.
Yeah.
All right, so Planeswater now going through Ilana's Towers, going to pick up that Spindle and that Oculus Ring. Wafflesoup now going back for some of those onesie-twosies. Checking out the...
Bailed out of Ilana's Tower there. He's going to get Bat Ledge first.
Oh.
And here we go.
Yep.
This was my call earlier in the earlier in the seed. Just a release.
Not important. All right, well.
Big hammer on Planeswater's side. I don't know if we've seen anything that was ironed yet.
No, I think that is the first iron.
Well, I still have no idea if it's plus or minus. So looks like Waffle's going to be getting that D key card here, and we'll be just about at parity. Never mind. I don't know anything. What do I know?
Does she have C? Where is she? Oh, she's got Oculus. That's where she's going. Okay. Respectable. Yeah, she's got to feel super behind, right?
Yeah.
33 minutes, 2 pieces of the time spinner. Like, for all that we're sitting here and we know how linear this seed has been, there has been a lot of, like, going out of the way in order to get the one piece of progression that has happened for Waffle. And even still, there's been a couple of checks that she's left behind. So, like, she's getting everything late, but Planeswater is also getting everything late. None of them are making, you know, weird, out-of-the-norm kind of plays here, which is what they would need in order to get ahead by any major amount.
Yeah, Planeswater, I want to know. He picks up that gas mask. He's like, well.
At least that's already resolved.
Yeah. That does at least give a little benefit there to Planeswater, because Wafflesoup might be like, oh, I have gas mask. Let's kill them all.
Yeah, that's true. That could potentially pull Wafflesoup to go do that, and we already know it's bait.
Correct.
It's looking like we're gonna see some single jump Lightwall Lab.
It certainly does seem that way. In fact, I believe unless Ilana's tower's floor has something.
Yeah, or Basement Loop, or something in Serene or Desolation. There's, you know, 4 checks hidden behind breakable walls over there. So unless somebody decides, you know, actually, I'm going to check that one breakable wall in Lake Serene, and it's going to have Celestial Sash. We are in for some pain.
Yeah, Wafflesoup still fading, those the military hangar as long as possible. Knows how annoying it is to do all of that without any time stop. And there's that third laser gate. That's why she wasn't going to military hangar. She couldn't because there was no laser gate.
No laser gate.
Oh yeah, also the temporal gyres is just like chilling. Oh no, it's not in logic because no.
Yeah, no wheel. I mean, who knows when they'll get the wheel.
Oh, and Wafflesoup is doing the sanity check Planeswater did moments ago.
Absolutely. But she's coming in with Lightwall, so she might decide with Oculus in hand to go check out the rest of the pyramid.
You know?
Okay, Planeswater has one more gear than Waffle. That was in the hangar?
Was in military hangar.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's the plan, Waffle? Where are we at?
Having a nice conversation with herself, like, do we really want to do this? Are you serious? All right, and Planeswater has full cleared Ilana's tower and really only has a Spindle and an Oculus Ring to show for it, so we'll see where Planeswater goes. And
this is the... Oh, yes, there's 2 checks. I guess 1 check, really, because we've scouted the ledge here. But there is a check that is unknown. So this could be, you know, Sash. It's not.
It's an Ether.
It's an Ether. Planeswater going for Golden Idol? Did he miss the preview? Maybe he forgot?
Maybe he didn't catch it.
Yeah. It is really easy to miss. It's like a quick flash. And
it is very fast, and it might, like, Soul Scanner's kind of round. It might look like a wheel. This is going to be a very fast fight. It's another dad fight with Plasma Plus.
I always confuse Soul Scanner and Water Mask. I think they look very, very similar.
They do look very, very similar.
So he might be like, oh yeah, Water Mask, that's important.
Yeah, it's a Soul Scanner.
Without realizing he already has it.
Yep. All right, well, we'll see how far Waffle goes into the lab. If it's just a tag. Oh, we are seeing Basement Loop.
Yes. This is the play I expected from Planeswater is now that all of these breakable walls are checkable, we're gonna go check all the breakable walls. Because if he's going to lose, it's not going to be because he didn't check breakable walls.
I would say if Planeswater thought that Sash was there, he would have gone there immediately. So
yeah.
Probably didn't think it was Sash, probably just missed it. Now here's the rub. Their offense and their verticality both. Oh, that's a gear behind Experiment and another little Rage Dance.
So if there's the wheel in Lab, Wafflesoup has practically go mode.
Yeah. Not even practically.
Yeah.
Just like actually
go mode. Just actually go mode.
With single jump light wall.
Oh no.
We have seen Ravenlord. We've seen Varney. We're out of annoying bosses.
True. I mean, Dad likes are still pretty annoying with single jump light wall, but
yeah, I mean, Volteralus is the only outstanding one of there.
Oh, that's true, huh?
Yeah. So we have a broken wall check here from Planeswater, which is Infernal Flames Plus.
No A card for either of our runners yet, so no shots at Spider Hell.
Neurotoxin Trap, so annoying when your verticality. That is a terrible place for a Neurotoxin Trap, actually.
Not only verticality, but her melee. She's still using Plasma. Neurotoxin Trap is the worst.
Yeah, and re-equipping that Economizer ring, but all right, so Planeswater heading into this breakable wall here.
All of the breakable walls, while Wafflesoup is getting all of the lab. And it's hard to say who's going to come out ahead of this one. We do know that Planeswater is going to have to do the stuff that Wafflesoup's doing. But from what we've seen so far, Wafflesoup's not going to have to do the stuff that Planeswater's doing.
Yeah, I mean, the main difference is Wafflesoup still could do that stuff.
That's true. Yeah, we absolutely could make that decision.
The song!
Oh, it is in lab.
Another quick duck dance there. Oh my goodness.
That is incredible. Well, that means that it's going to be easy to get into Dad's Towers, right?
Yep.
And also a lot easier to check everything else in the pyramid. So that, man, huge advantages. Okay, I'm switching the audio back over to Wafflesoup. I think Wafflesoup is very strongly in the lead now.
Yeah, and
I mean, it's still anybody's game, right? We have no idea where the wheel is, but Wafflesoup has a lot of the advantages.
Yep. Well, Planeswater is heading into the lab now, so we're not going to see anything new. We will see, I guess, a Ravenlord spot fight. But we are at a wheel hunt, and we have a Plasma plus Azure Queen fight.
The best kind of Azure Queen fight. So Planeswater actually doing the lab routing the other way around, getting this bottom area first, which means he's going to have the sash to get through the area that Wafflesoup needed to spend a lot of light walls on.
That is true. Also means that he's not going to be able to peak Experiment. So we'll be pleasantly surprised when he goes in there.
Will indeed.
That it is indeed a gear. So,
but yeah, it is down to, can we find the wheel? And given that Planeswater has been everywhere else in, a very thorough Planeswater fashion, the pretty good odds that the wheel is going to be either in the pyramid or in Dad's Towers. Like, there's not a lot of other places to go at this point.
Yeah, I mean, there is that Oculus ring, right? So, Regret Chest is online. Still missing an A card, even. So, like, there's still a lot of stuff. And yeah, speaking of,
here it is. Yep, instantly goes for Regret.
So the tech here, and it saves like maybe 2.5 seconds, but I'm gonna call it tech anyway, is that you warp to Emperor's Towers. Well, I guess no, this isn't necessarily the tech. You do the first couple checks in Emperor's Towers. It's wet Regret, and she's doing it. That's wild.
You gotta. It's Regret. Waffle hates Regret, and she would regret even more not doing it and having it matter.
Yeah. Not needing that light wall minus anymore.
True.
So all the aura is just going to be Plasma.
Oh, look at Planeswater using the Frozen Spires on Azure Queen.
Yep.
Beautiful.
That's a blood orb.
It's a
Nothing
neutral
there.
blue orb.
Here we go. Here comes
Fingers
regret
crossed.
test.
I don't know what for, but fingers crossed.
It's
Not
lab
real.
glasses.
Okay. It's fine. It's fine.
All right. Let's see. We have another little
No one happy.
another little duck dance there.
Poor Waffle.
All right. We've got the left side of the pyramid, Planeswater taking out Zarian at the Ravenlord spot, or the Genza spot.
Against
my
the spot,
mistake.
yeah.
And just running right into
the towers.
Emperor's
Yep.
Tower. Okay. At this point, Waffle's going to need to find something here.
Yeah. If it is not in this exact next chest, then Planeswater will probably find the wheel first.
Yep. It's just a sand bottle.
Waffle could decide to go up first. Oh,
Yeah, could go up
a key card for Planeswater.
Oh, wow.
Now he has decisions to make.
There weren't decisions before, but now there are decisions.
Going up the towers. Okay. Completely reasonable. Right here already, and it's probably quicker than growing through Zarian's caves.
Oh, absolutely, yes. Yes. So now Spider Hells are online.
Mhm.
Zarian Caves, like yeah. So
All right.
we have.
So Waffle going right behind Planeswater here.
Yep. We're gonna see if we
yeah.
hit a bottom of like a way up there check before a dad fight for on Waffle's side. That's
could.
another routing that could make a lot of sense here.
Yep. And there she goes across the bottom right.
Yeah, with one piece of the time spinner remaining, you want to prioritize checks per second, and this is definitely more checks per second than having to. Oh my god.
Keycard C. Okay, so all of the progression finally coming together, which means choices.
There's Aura Blast Plus and Corruption, and so we are going to get a high five.
Yep.
Right here.
There. Wafflesoup gonna fight Dad now and find nothing useful. So what's next? Do we go for Spider Hell? Do we go for the Varney fight with that C key card? What is what do we
Well, we'll see where Planeswater goes. Oh, Planeswater's going to the pyramid.
Oh yeah. Yep, Planeswater hasn't done pyramid yet. So
all right, well we are seeing
a
a Genza. Yeah, there we go. Okay. That's taken care of on that side. We are glad to have Wafflesoup stream back here.
Yeah.
Getting an Ether, and Planeswater is going to be doing some stuff that Wafflesoup's already done at this point. Wafflesoup's heading into
Zarian's caves. Okay.
All right.
So, oh my god. This
Back
is
and forth.
freaking out.
Yeah, so Wafflesoup's going to get poisoned here on purpose to build up Shadow Seal energy. So she'll be just one-shotting the rest of these mushrooms for the remainder of this first half of this cave. Planeswater doing regret, and still not one-shotting those. They do resist plasma, so it is worth noting.
There
Okay,
it is.
so now
Finally
there's
one-shotting them.
There's the wheel!
No!
Oh my goodness!
So that's it. This is Wafflesoup's game.
Yep. Wafflesoup has to not accidentally run into this enemy right here.
Correct.
Okay, there it is. That was probably the most difficult thing that Wafflesoup had to do for the remainder of this season, was not run into with that enemy specifically. Getting a toe tap on the save point halfway, and we have a penultimate boots.
This is smart. I really appreciate this tech, like being able to tag the save a little bit, so she's not getting a full heal out of it, which means she's getting more Shadow Seal value.
Yeah, that is classic. That is early tech. That is tech from a long time ago that was figured out, that little toe tap with the Shadow Seal. As we get a final Maw, Waffle like, no, please hit me with your spikes. I actually want you to.
Right? And Maw weak to ice, finally getting some real good value out of that melee ice.
And there it is.
GG.
Exclamation points in chat.
Incredible.
Wafflesoup. What a race. Wow.
Wow. Absolutely wild. Planeswater going for the spider hell checks. Yep.
Yeah, we do have an official time of exactly 47 minutes.
47 and 0-0.
Yeah. What an absolute race. And Wafflesoup should be joining us here momentarily. And there she is, Wafflesoup, exclamation points.
Thank you.
Congratulations, very well raced, incredibly back and forth.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah, you, So how'd you feel about that seed?
What a wild one.
It was a journey.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. We were what, like 25, 30 minutes in, and my only piece of movement tech was water mask?
Correct.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Oh.
Yeah,
Wes,
so
both of us got our wishes. This
Yeah.
was a 45-plus minute seed with lab in it.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
Planeswater currently fading Zarian Caves, doing the spider hell checks, and
Okay.
Planeswater actually hadn't gotten medbay until like just now, so routing medbay in with the spider hell and all the left side. I guess some of the
Going for all the
Oculus
CT
checks
card
on the
checks.
left side. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense.
CT card
Absolutely.
in Dad's Towers. So elevator. Honestly, he'd gotten what, half of elevator towers prior to this. So this
Yeah.
isn't like
Yeah.
a surprising check.
But finding both A and C key card in Dad's Tower just feels bad.
It really
It does.
does.
So it was required, Dad's Tower, but not directly. You did need that AQ card to get into Zarian Caves, and you didn't even have to go that far into Zarian Caves to get that wheel. So
No?
just an absolutely wild one. This has been back and forth the entire time. Just slight routing differences had made you go kind of back and forth a lot during this seed. For instance, Planeswater went bottom of lab first, got the sash, and didn't have to mess with all the light wall stuff in the lab. You obviously had gone to the lab first. Planeswater ducked out of the lab to go do Pyramid, which you had already done.
Okay.
I think that was the play.
Yep.
So,
It was, yeah, right after Emperor's Towers. There was the Planeswater finished up that a little bit ahead of Waffle. And then it was the where do you go now? And it was Pyramid, which you had already checked, Waffle. So it was like, oh, okay, well that's exactly what you needed to pull ahead.
Yeah. Okay. Oh.
What an incredibly
requires-
linear seed.
convinced. Planeswater is convinced that this is an Oculus check.
Yeah, he really is.
Uh-huh.
I mean, that is from talking to Planeswater at the end of his previous race, that is exactly the kind of thing that he'd be convinced of. Right? That is how he loses races, is by missing something out of the way that the other runner goes and gets. And honestly, this was just really well matched. I think a lot of Planeswater's races, he's got that pretty big execution advantage, and he might still have an execution advantage over you, Waffle. Like, I don't think that's, too out of the blue to say, but it's
I would agree
nowhere
with
near
that.
as big as against most of his other racers. So, like, you were very even for most of the race.
Let's just not talk about me trying to get into jackpot room.
That was
Okay.
pretty funny. Planeswater also struggled getting in there, not nearly as much as you did, but Planeswater was also doing little hops.
Yeah. Shoutouts to Llama to reminding me on some other previous comms that you can just unequip the water mask to get up there.
All right, Planeswater is finally heading into Zarian Cave, so we'll see a finish pretty shortly here.
Yeah.
But yeah, really wild seed. It was kind of mostly linear. There wasn't a lot that you could do. Like, there weren't a lot of decisions you had to make.
Yeah. There was one point, I don't remember what it was, there was something that was like, okay, I routed this slightly better. You could have routed this a slightly worse way. But yeah, for the most part, it was go get this, go to this other spot completely out of the way, go get the next unlock. All right, follow that.
There's that
All right.
wheel.
Planeswater has the wheel, so again, we will be seeing a finish very shortly. And as I said before, Planeswater's most difficult step will be to not get hit by this enemy. And there you go. Okay.
Nailed it.
Uh-huh.
both of you rolling in there with lethal on that enemy, and it was very nerve-wracking because like if Lunaeus lifts off of the step a little early and you lose your vertical, then it can absolutely kill you there.
Yeah, and it had been a while since I had saved too. I was aware of that.
It had been a very long time. Yeah, Planeswater using Icicle, Frozen Spire here to just absolutely destroy boots, and then probably going to do the same here.
Oh yeah, Frozen Spires is just going to demolish them all. Hardly even fair.
And there it is, exclamation points in chat for Planeswater, and that is our race.
Yeah, Planeswater with an official ending time of 52:45.
Great race, actually, just an absolutely
incredible.
Great race. It was back and forth, like I said. It was exciting. A lot of chances for execution to matter a lot. As we are joined in the booth here by Planeswater. Planeswater, exclamation points.
I think you might have push to talk on from last time.
Maybe.
Oh, yeah, you're absolutely right.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah, hello, what a disaster of a seed.
Yeah, absolutely.
That was pretty hellish. Yeah, so after I saw that you finished, I went back and did a few checks I had on my mind, and based on them not having anything, I'm assuming you went earlier than I did, and found your stash.
You two were neck and neck for the majority of the seed. The real difference is when you finished Emperor's Towers, Waffle went to Zarian's Caves, and you went to the pyramid.
Gotcha. Okay, wow. At that point, I don't know. I think Waffle finished while I was still in Barney Towers, or right after.
Yeah, you were in the elevator towers.
Right.
Right about there.
I decided to do that first, and since you finished at that point, I guess Zarian Caves should have been the natural next place to go. But I was more curious about did Waffle already have the wheel when she went into the lab and Emperor's Tower? So that's did I miss it somewhere, or did Waffle find it in the other choice?
Yeah, the theme of this race was both of you doing different things, but finding progression in both of those places. That was basically what had kept happening. It was like, oh well, if Alana's Tower is bait, and then we get what is the spindle and the Oculus both in Alana's Tower. Well, you were going into the military hangar, and well, there was a gear in the military hangar, so there was just a lot of divergence, and both of it paid off, which resulted in an incredibly thrilling finish with both of you high-fiving, going right to left and left to right in Emperor's Tower near the very end of the seed.
Nice.
Dang. Well, I hope it was a good race, because it was a fun seed in the sense that it was thrilling and nerve-wracking, and how is this so bad?
Yeah, absolutely. I will say that my warm-up seed was also very terrible, and I think kind of prepared me for this, so I'm glad about that, at least.
Was absolutely prepared for the garbage. I did roll this.
Yep.
I'll take the credit for this one.
I know.
Yeah, okay.
I can tell.
Well, let's look at the bracket here. Waffle, you are going up against Jim the Eternal.
Yeah, I'm very concerned. Waffle's going to get revenge.
That's the plan. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. That's always the plan.
that was a matchup earlier in the tournament, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I believe I knocked Waffle into the second chance bracket.
First round.
And then I got one round deeper and then got bodied.
So that's the situation there. Jim versus Wafflesoup in the next round of the second chance bracket.
Very exciting.
Planeswater, unfortunately, this does mean you are eliminated from the tournament, but it's always a pleasure to have you around and racing with us.
Yep, this was a blast. Thanks so much for organizing. I'm looking forward to this tournament so much, and I'm very happy to participate once again. And couldn't have lost to a better racer. So GG Wafflesoup.
Thank you. It means a lot.
Yeah. With any luck, we'll be doing more than one thing a year, and we'll have more time to kind of cultivate matchups like this, where we were discussing that despite being very skilled and being in the late stages of all 3 tournaments that we've done, you haven't faced each other yet. So hopefully we can make that happen in the future with a little more frequency in some of the racing aspect of Timespinner Randomizer.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But Jim, you got any more thoughts where you can get ready to sign us off here?
Yeah, I don't think I have any more questions for y'all. Do we have any final thoughts from the racers? Planeswater, go first.
I'm good. Shout out to Speedgaming, the usual blurb at the end. Hey, thanks for giving us the space to hold these really exciting races. And wishlist Timespinner too.
Yeah. Waffle, you have any final thoughts for us?
Mainly what he said. Especially thank you to everyone who volunteers on both the Timespinner community and the Speedgaming community. It's a big deal, and it takes a lot of work to run something like this, and I really appreciate all of that. So, yeah, that's it.
Great.
All right. Well, again, congratulations, Waffle, and best of luck to both you and Jim in the next round.
I'm gonna need it.
Well, everybody's just kind of good at this game in 2024, so makes it very, very thrilling. I think this is a great way to round out this episode of the Timespinner Randomizer tournament. Thanks again to both of our runners. Thanks to Speed Gaming. Wishlist Timespinner 2. You can just do it. It doesn't cost anything to wishlist Timespinner 2. So go on Steam and wishlist it. Anyway, thanks everybody, and